You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning. We're here to bring you some real talk. Truth is in the talk. We believe that. I get this messed up every day. And there's power in the truth, and we believe that Power Talks. Melody, good morning. How was that for an opening, huh?
Oh, it is Thursday, so it's great. It's great.
Throwback Thursday is what they call it.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah. Where they plaster pictures of themselves on Facebook or something old that you can remember. Do you remember Dippity Doo?
Dippity Doo day, Dippity day. Yes, I do. Dippity Doo.
Dippity Doo.
Put it in your hair and it doesn't move.
No, that's kind of the slogan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This green, slimy stuff, you dipped your comb in it, and then you put it through your hair, you curled your hair, and it stayed there.
Yes.
Yeah. Dippity-doo. That's a throwback for today on Thursday, everybody. They're going to think, these girls have lost their minds. But what else is new?
Well, at least we're not crying. I shouldn't say crying, tearing. We tear up. We don't cry.
We get emotional.
We get emotional.
Yes, we do. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yes. But I saw that I think people of our age know who Charlie Manson is.
Oh, gosh.
He's just, I can't say the words on the program, but it looks like he's ready to meet his
maker.
Yes. And I guess he's in a hospital. He went.
I don't think he'll be with him very long.
But I saw a picture. They showed a picture of him, and he looks like
he looks evil.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Completely consumed with evil.
But it looks like it's just a matter of time until he croaks. So, for lack of a nicer term to put it, but so again, it was.
He will soon learn the power and the truth, will he not?
Yes,
he will.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Well, I guess we won't see what happens. He's going to die. So.
We won't see until we die, and
until
I'm not really planning on that right now.
No.
Plan on hanging around a little longer. Maybe buy another jar of Dippity-Doo or something.
But anyway, that was kind of in the headlines. And yesterday I saw where there were, 5 or 6 Democrats who produced impeachment.
What is their reasoning besides they don't like him and that Hillary lost? They're tired of hearing her cry. He's done nothing to warrant an impeachment. They cannot like him if they don't want to like him. They can, that's all well and good. But he's done nothing for an impeachment. To my knowledge, they said, well, he lied. Well, what politician up there hasn't lied? And I don't recall what lie they're talking about, because I hear something different when he talks than everybody else does, I guess. When he was campaigning, he was talking about that some of these guys coming across the border are rapists and drug dealers and that kind of thing. They heard all of them are rapists and drug dealers, and that's not what I heard.
Oh, I know. And it's, so I don't know what they're looking to accomplish.
They're looking to not do anything because they have not yet approved all of his appointees. And so the man still isn't dealing with a full house, so to speak, and I don't mean that mentally. I mean literally. He doesn't have his staff and people in place and administration because they won't do it. And the Republicans are just as guilty. They will not make sure that this guy has all the tools that he needs in place to get a job done. I guess because they don't want him to get the job done. But
can you believe there's actually going to be an anti-Trump activist hotel that is opening up in Washington, D.C.?
I saw that. Is that actually the name of it?
Eaton Workshop is a new politically conscious brand that's launching an anti-Trump ticket, and its flagship property set to open barely a half a mile from Trump's International Hotel. I'm not sure if they've actually claimed a name for this hotel yet, but
this week.
it's going to feature a restaurant, bar, just a typical hotel. I don't know if it's Eaton Workshop is the brainchild. I'm not so sure if I could label her brainchild of Catherine Lowe, who was the daughter of Langham Hospitality Group chairman. We believe that we're a step toward a more humane business that provides space for community building and learning in a world that needs it, and we think hospitality can be a tremendous catalyst for social and environmental impact. The opening is planned for spring 2018, and so they really, I don't think that, I think it just says the Eaton Workhouse brand. I really don't see in this article that it has a name.
It's not bigoted if the left hates somebody. It's only bigoted if the right hates somebody.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Correct.
And that's uniting this nation to put up a hotel and brag that it is an anti-Trump or a leftist hotel. I mean, that's just crazy.
It really is. But I will have to check this out if I remember, because I'm going to an event in D.C. the 1st of December, and I'll have to check this place out. If it's opening in spring, it should be fairly well along its way.
Take pictures and show it to us.
I'll take pictures and post it.
Post it on the radio. So
yeah, so just bizarre.
It is crazy. Well, Hillary, she lost. You know that, right? She lost the election. Okay. But she's giving an absurd reason for why she shouldn't be investigated. Of course, we know how Hillary is. But Hillary Clinton believes appointing a special counsel to investigate her ties to uranium deal with Russia would be an abuse of power. It's an abuse of power. Clinton said that if she were to be put under investigation by a special counsel, the United States would be like an authoritarian regime. Now, why isn't it an authoritarian regime when they're putting a special counsel to look at Donald Trump for a year now, and they have found nothing, so they go, well, yeah, but we're going to look a little more now. Why isn't that authoritarian? Clinton believes it would send a bad message to the country and would be demoralizing to people who have served at the Department of Justice.
You know what? If someone was accusing me of something, and I get they start these panels and these investigations, and what they go after one thing, then they unleash a whole bunch of other things. But if you were truly innocent and you had the 9 departments that approved the sale and everything to support that you're innocent, I'd be coming out and say, hey, do it. Go ahead and investigate me, because I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, but that's not what they're saying.
But that's not what they're saying. And, they're saying that it's an abuse of power. It's like, well, if you don't have anything to hide, but, then open the books. Let there be an investigation. And I'm going to go to Roy Moore, too. He should be saying the same thing.
Absolutely. Do it. Just go at it.
But I think some of these politicians, maybe, they have so much.
Well, since all of them are guilty
baggage,
of it.
Yeah.
The majority of them. I shouldn't say all.
They don't want to open the book on...
Boy, I'm glad it's him and not me this time,
But, and it's, thou protest too much. And that's how I see it. So, to me, and we are supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. So,
and that's not the case anymore.
No, it isn't.
I mean, and I'm not just talking about the stories or the allegations and things that we're seeing in the public eye here, but anytime you're always presumed guilty instead of innocent, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. And people have that nature. They have that nature. Oh, he did that or she did that. They don't ever question it, because I guess it makes us look better if we see somebody else do something bad, which is not the case. You know, Melody, as we're talking about these things and the hotel, and I've got a little story here. It's a real short story, but this nation is so divided. It just absolutely breaks my heart. You know, I watch these news shows at night, and they'll get the opposing opinionated person on there. You know, Tucker Carlson's he's good at that, but they yell so much you can't understand anything, and they absolutely do nothing to come to the middle. They do nothing to find a common ground. This guy he had on, and I knew he was going to be bad because I've seen him before. He was asking him about this impeachment that they're trying to put out there for Donald Trump. And the guy just kept going on and on and on, and then he was accusing. I mean, if I was Tucker Carlson, I'd have told my producer, we're done with him now. Because he was being insulting. I mean insulting. And I would have said, you know what, we're finished. You're not answering the questions anyway. So I don't even know the guy's name. He's a big Democrat. He's all about hating Trump and all about putting Hillary Clinton on a pedestal. And what I was getting ready to say is we're not doing anything. I don't see people doing anything to unite this country. They want to scream about racial divide, but they don't want to do anything to bring it together. They just want to scream about the problem. Well, here's this little story, and this is coming from the Daily Signal. It says, through God, this Mississippi boys' school is working to heal the racial divide. In Greenwood, Mississippi, Thomas McMillan Howard, known as T-Mac, describes Greenwood, Mississippi as a backwards place. And sadly, most people who's visited would agree. It's separated by a bridge where the black population tends to live on the one side and the white population mostly lives on the other side. Now, mostly, so they must have a little mingle there. Greenwood has struggled to reconnect with its racially segregated past. Poverty is rampant, and public schools are outright failures. Greenwood High School, for example, routinely receives an F grade from the state, as it fails to even keep students enrolled. Parents who can afford it send their children to private schools, which as a result are dominated by white students, it says. T-Mac, who graduated from Mississippi State University, entered this town with a different approach to turning things around. He wanted to use the Bible to educate and equip young boys to stay in school and prepare for a successful future. In 2012, T-Mac opened Delta Streets Academy, housed inside a historically white Baptist church. Most of his 55 students are black, and many of them come from difficult backgrounds. And the Daily Signal visited Delta Streets Academy to find out how this school relies on God to bridge the gap between the black and the white, despite a culture that seems to be working against them. And they had a little video there to watch. But it's like, how did he bring them together? Through God's Word. Well, you're not going to see the left or the right do that. They don't seem to want to do that. But this guy did, T-Mac. We're just not doing enough to bring America back together. I know it makes good conversation when we want to get all riled up on the air, but
isn't that what it's all about, though? A lot of it, not as far as
not
TV,
me.
Not us, but as far as TV, the programs, it's all about ratings. It's all about it's all about money and
sensationalizing,
sensationalism,
fear mongering. It just goes on and on. I hear music. We're heading into a break. We've got some other things to bring to you. Well, let's just ask, uniting America, don't you think that would be good if we saw some, even if they've got bad things they think about policies, to at least come to a common ground and unite? 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. You're listening to Power Talks, and Melody and Beth Ann will be right back.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Gold and silver is tremendously undervalued. Global demand vastly exceeds mine supply by more than 60% annually. There is little in the financial world more certain than a coming explosion in the prices of gold and silver. The U.S. dollar continues to lose value and respect as the world's reserve currency. Our nation faces challenges on many fronts, and a day doesn't pass without another economist bringing forth warnings of impending economic calamity. There has never been a better time than right now to acquire physical gold and silver. Discount Gold and Silver Trading was founded on the principles of truth and honesty. We believe in providing a quality product, quality service, and most importantly, competitive pricing. We provide all forms of precious metals, including American gold, silver, platinum, and rare investment and circulated coins. Silver bars, rounds, and 90% silver bags are on hand for the silver investor. Gold self-directed IRAs are available. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, that's 1-800-375-4188.
Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the Scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a reestablished Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more, using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
Years ahead of the dominant media, FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
And we have returned to listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning. And Melody had a little follow-up with my little warm story from Mississippi. She's got one from Texas.
This is Texas, Odessa, Texas. This is a businessman, John Bushman. And he owns businesses, hotels in Texas, Colorado, New Mexico, shopping centers. He owns a Chicken for You restaurant, also in Odessa. And each one of those places display the 10 Commandments. It's engraved on an 800-pound stone tablet. And in Dallas, he owns the MCM Elegant Hotel and Suites on West Northwest Highway. And so he's opening up a new mall. He's the new owner of Vista Ridge Mall. And so he has a lot of ideas that he wants to make the shopping center attractive to families. And so he wants this mall into a community space where people can find peace and love. Sounds like the hippie days. Peace and love.
Maybe they were.
But he wants to have them not in free love. He wants to have peace and love in the 10 Commandments.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to have some local musicians perform live. And he's also going to take in a giant wave of a 30-foot by 60-foot American flag outside. So here's someone who's doing his part. And so he says he's not trying to overwhelm anyone. He's not trying to make a statement. We just believe in the Lord's love. He says, and that's the sole reason. And we hope when someone sees it, it will touch their heart and give them a new hope that day. And so, yeah, I think that was a pretty awesome thing for this gentleman to do. He wants it to be a wholesome family place. And
so what does he have what does he have there to attract them at the mall?
Well, I mean, that's, the attraction. It's going to be a mall with stores.
Oh, okay.
So
I was envisioning like
mall.
one of these strip malls that had been closed down, and he was, making it like a community center or something. My head went another direction.
No, I mean, this is a mall that he's turning into, but he's going to want it to make it a little more family-friendly, more focused. And he says, he's going to include Santa will arrive at the mall. It's a mall on this coming Saturday with free family photos to the first 100 customers. The mall will have Christmas decorations. And, there's always then there's always the other side. And they think it should be, she would rather see the mall become more like have trendy tenants, updated, trendy, new technology that integrates social media into the shopping experience. Well, you know what? That's part of the problem of this country, social media, new technology, updated and trendy. That hasn't really worked. So maybe getting back to basics will. But I think I applaud this gentleman, and he's a very successful businessman, and all of his businesses have been successful. And it's called faith-based marketing, and it's been around for a long time. And you have large companies who do profess Christianity. You have Hobby Lobby.
Yes.
You have Chick-fil-A. And, many other companies. Discount Gold and Silver Trading. So.
Yeah. CSC Talk Radio.
CSC Talk Radio. Power Talks.
That's right. We try. We don't always get it right, but we try. And I always say, well, CSC Talk Radio is not necessarily a Christian talk show, but it's a talk show run by a Christian, and I try to make sure that we go that direction. And it's difficult with all the ugly we put up with every day. Melody and I were talking before the show. We're kind of sick and tired of what's in the news. It's just seems to be the same old thing every single day. And I still think, yesterday, and I should have done a little research. I cannot remember. I know that. We got Joe on the line. He knows everything. I know that they were investigating Bill Clinton, for something else, and all of a sudden that got put to the side, and the Lewinsky story came out to the top because they were hiding something. We have all these sex stories, all these accusations of assault and rape and misbehavior, and I think they're hiding something else.
Well, it isn't a secret. Sex sells. So
yes, it does. In politics as well as on the market. All right, we want to go to Joe. Joe, how are you doing today?
Oh, kind of cold at the moment. How are you?
Chilly. It is a little chilly here, but
chilly.
The sun is shining.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like winter, isn't it?
It is.
Well, I wanted to comment on your topic of uniting America. And I think with the situation we have is that there's a certain hardcore of people in this country that are absolutely committed to international Marxism and turning this country into a Marxist state, which is a province of a Marxist world government. And they are not going to give up their position, and they're absolutely committed to that. And then there's another certain hardcore of this country of people that are patriotic and nationalistic and want to more or less go by the original design of this country, the design of the founding fathers, and follow the Constitution, follow the Bill of Rights. And these groups, and then in the middle, then in the vast middle, there's a lot of people that don't care too much about politics. They just want to have a comfortable life, and they'll go with either side. Whichever side seems to give them the best promise of having some comfort and prosperity in their life, they'll go with that side. Whichever side seems to be more likely to offer them that. And they just care about their personal life, and they don't really care much about politics. And that's the vast, big, bulk majority of this country, I think. That's what I find anyway. And so there's just no coming together, And so I think there's an irreconcilable conflict here, and one of the other side eventually is going to win. either the communists, the international Marxists, are going to they're talking about killing, the patriots, putting them in concentration camps, putting them in re-education camps, that kind of thing. They want to completely take over and dominate the country, and they want to stamp out all the element of patriotism that wants to still follow the design of the founding fathers, go by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and so on like that. And then so either they're going to win, or the other side, the patriotic people, the people that want to follow the original design of this country, they're going to, they'll have to just completely get the communists out of the country, not allow that philosophy to have any place in public life anymore. So one of those two sides is going to have to win, because there's an irreconcilable conflict here, and there's a small hardcore of people on both sides that are absolutely committed to their cause. So I don't think there's any coming together, any uniting, until either one of the other sides wins the conflict. That's what it looks like to me.
I think you're right. Steve Bannon said when that was when Reince Priebus was still there, right when they were first putting the administration together. He said, they're not going to just give you back your country. And they basically have taken the republic. They keep calling it a democracy. And we're not just talking about the Democrats. The Republicans are doing it too, because they're all getting filthy rich off of whatever it is they're doing. And I think you're right, Joe, and I keep going back to that timeline that I shared on the Revolutionary War a couple of years ago. And at the end of the Revolutionary War, we sent over 100,000 people packing out of here. You don't want to be a part of this? Get going. Go back to the king. You want to be under the king? Go back to the king. And we sent them packing. And I think you're right, until we, and I did a little studying on Thanksgiving and the pilgrims coming over, and when I say little, I'm concentrating on little because I was out of time. I didn't get to do a lot of deep studying. But we know that they left a homeland because they were unhappy about how things were going, and so they came to a new world, a new adventure. And that's where we, talk about the exceptionalism of the American spirit, because how many of us would leave knowing we would never see our families again? Go to a new world, and we have no idea what we're getting into. But, again, I think you're absolutely right. You're not going to change their minds. They're not going to change mine, that's for sure. So I guess we'll meet you in the concentration camp, or else we'll meet you in D.C. and celebrate that we got our country back.
I think maybe this is where freedom of speech is kind of taken too far, and that's that, the freedom of speech has been practiced in this country, as the Bill of Rights says we have. It's allowed people to, propagandize and advocate against freedom and against the Bill of Rights. And so, so it seemed like to keep the original design of the country, it would have to somehow be made illegal, outlawed, forbidden for people to speak in a way that advocates and promotes ending freedom and getting rid of the Bill of Rights, because that is treason. Yes. Because that is basically treason to the country.
That's exactly what they're doing. Now, I have another question, because you're my brain here. I've been trying to think about it for 2 days. I should have done some research. When they were investigating Bill Clinton, it was some kind of corruption, probably money laundering or something, and I cannot remember what it was that he was into. And then all of a sudden, Monica Lewinsky came to the forefront, and the other got forgotten. Do you remember what that was they were investigating him for at that time?
No, I was mostly concerned with running my business at that time. I paid some attention to politics at that time. Not all that much, so no, I do not remember that.
Yeah, there was something that, and it wasn't Whitewater. I can't think what it was, but it was something that he was being investigated for at that time. And then all of a sudden,
I think it was Whitewater.
Maybe it was.
It was Whitewater.
Was it Whitewater?
It started out with Whitewater. Yeah, I couldn't remember. But no, that's what.
And ended up with a blue
dress. And it turned into Lewinsky.
That poor girl.
And that turned into the second impeachment trial.
Yeah.
In history.
Yeah. Joe, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Goodbye.
It is a mess. I don't know.
Well, I agree with him, and I think the uniting needs to come. And you're right. You can't unite the two different ideas. I get that.
Democracy and a republic don't work together.
No,
we say that
can't.
about Sharia law, but democracy and a republic do not work
together either.
No.
But the people in the middle, those that he talks about that are so selfish for their own interests that they'll flip flop anyway. Those are the dangerous people because they allow the other side to gain the strength that they have, so the people in the middle are they're easily controlled. They're the sheep. They're easily controlled and manipulated, conditioned, and never see the truth. Now, I don't know about forbidding language, changing the free speech. But if we were strong in our faith, if we were strong in our republic,
right?
Those that would speak about ending wouldn't have the power they have today. So there's a big picture.
I believe that there's so many people, I want to say the majority, but I pray that it's not the majority, but so many people these days have gotten dependent on government. And they have it in their mind that government should take care of this, should protect you. Its government should fix this. And I've not seen anything government fixed ever. Ever. And
because they don't fix things for fixing things. They fix things. Well, they fix things for their own agenda.
Absolutely.
So no, none of the programs that are going to work would ever. None of them ever work because there isn't anything free in this world. There's nothing free.
Everything's free in America. For free in America.
Free, I should say free money. There's no such thing as free money. But
you just got to make it. It's on paper. Come on.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, we've complained a lot about Attorney General Sessions in the past. I'm going to change the subject. But this is something that we as Christians and those who believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and concentrating on the word life in this, the Attorney General Jeff Sessions says Planned Parenthood may be charged with illegally selling aborted baby parts. So they are going to look into this. Representative Trent Franks, he's a Republican from Arizona, asked the Attorney General Jeff Sessions Tuesday about the possibility of charges in the investigation into Planned Parenthood's alleged trafficking in unborn baby parts after the FBI requested unredacted documents Monday that the Senate obtained from abortion providers. Sessions replied generally that if the findings of Congress were confirmed, it could provide a basis for charges. Goes on to say, if the FBI has requested what is now several thousand pages of testimony and findings the Senate has gathered through their investigation of Planned Parenthood, that may mean that they could be readying indictments against individuals who have committed the sale of these little body parts for profit. Generally speaking, are findings made by any Senate investigation, any subsequent referral, sufficient evidence for the Justice Department to bring charges upon the party guilty of violating federal law. It depends, he says, on the substance of those congressional findings, but they certainly can provide a basis for starting an investigation, and that's coming from Sessions, verifying the findings of the Congress could provide a basis for charges. So that would be a really good step. But again, Congress should have defunded Planned Parenthood, and they did not.
And they did not.
And they had an opportunity more than once.
When I hear unborn baby parts, it just It's like, where have we gone? We do have a caller. We have Neil from Missouri calling us this morning. Good morning, Neil.
Good morning, Neil.
You were just talking about, people being so easily led. There's a reason for that. And the reason is they don't have any fixed set of rules to live by.
Yeah.
There's no fixed law. The laws in this country change daily, sometimes hourly. And so the people are just constantly in a state of confusion and don't know what to do with their lives. Why do you think Islam is the fastest growing religion on the planet?
Yep.
It's because they have a fixed set of laws and say, this is all that God requires of you. Anything else you can ignore. Now, Christianity has that also. There are 470 laws in the Bible. That's all you need. Anything outside that is satanic BS, and you don't have to pay any attention to it. And if people would learn that and understand that, that's the only thing that's going to put a stop to what's going on in this country. We have to go back to the foundation law of the United States, which were the laws of God set up in the Bible, which is the only truth there is.
Absolutely.
Psalms 119, verse 142 tells you what the truth is. It's God's law, and that's it, nothing else.
Thank you, Neil, for that reminder. Appreciate it very much. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. We have gotten so far away from that. That's one reason those that are in power believe they're in power, because we allowed them to be in power. That's one reason they want to remove God.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know if they remove him, they don't have to pay attention to his laws. And I have a listener on CSC Talk Radio. She calls and talks to me every now and then. She says, those that make the laws practice the laws. There's a reason for them doing this. Everything they do, as you say, they have a purpose. And convoluting or confusing, you're breaking laws you don't even know exist. Neil's absolutely right. It changes on hourly. It changes constantly. And we need to be aware. And it's tough to be aware because you can't hardly follow it all. It's so fast. But anyway, so we have, what do you got next here, girl?
Well, I just saw some.
Oh.
Senator Al Franken.
Good old Al.
Good old Al, yeah. creepy Al Franken. But he is now, I believe, let me pull up the headline, being charged with sexual assault.
Oh, not Al.
Oh, no, not Al.
Well, that's not going to go anywhere because he's a Democrat.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, wait, he's a comic. He's a comedian. Oh, I did that when I was a comedian, not a senator. Kissed and groped are these sexual accusations. And so I guess he was on tour. And in December of 2006, he was on his 9th USO tour, his 8th in the Middle East. And I guess this is the person that was talking about. And on his trip, on this woman's trip, the headliner was a comedian and now Senator Al Franken. And
he was funny?
I never thought he was.
He's not funny now, that's for sure. You think he's laughing today since he's got those sexual assault charges?
Let's see.
This is getting to be like, this is absurd. We really are the, what do they call it? Sodom and Gomorrah. We really are Sodom and Gomorrah. We have let it go so far.
Well, what's really bad, this woman that was on the plane with him and the other entertainers coming back, the tour wrapped up on Christmas Eve. They began a 36-hour trip home, and she was sleeping. And she didn't realize until she was back in the U.S. and she was looking through the CD of photos that they were given by the photographer that she saw the one that they show pictured. And she's sleeping. And he's groping. And he's groping her chest.
She must sleep awfully deep. I believe I would have woke up.
Well, she says that the tour was exhausting. It was it was a long tour, and
Okay, well, I've never traveled that far. But
the whole idea, why would anybody do that when somebody is sleeping?
Because he knew he couldn't do it if she was awake. Without getting slapped.
So anyway, now we'll see what comes of this. But good Lord, here's another one. But
well, I wonder how in the forefront that'll be in the news. Since he is a Democrat, because Democrats, it's okay for them to be promiscuous.
Okay. Yes.
To practice promiscuity and sexual assault and rape. It seems to be okay for them. So I am changing the subject here a little bit. Well, no, let's stay on that just a second, because I've got another one here. And this is, good old Bill O'Reilly. Good old Bill O'Reilly. But he's saying, Judge Roy Moore, if he wins, he's going to be, the Democrat Party's just going to hang him. They're going to make that a noose around the Republican Party's throat for as long as he's in there as senator. And it's, I think he's right. They're all doing everything except what they're supposed to be doing up there, and that's on the Democrat and the Republican side. So we've got all these distractions. We're chasing all these sexual assault charges. I believe some of them are probably true. Obviously, if they took a picture of it, it's probably true. Ow, just saying. It's kind of hard to fudge on that
one.
I don't think we're not going to need an, what do they call it, a signature specialist to see and compare the signatures. But Melody, all these distractions, when they're supposed to be doing tax reform, they were supposed to take care of the health care bill. I mean, all these things they're supposed to be doing, and they're chasing everything else. And the American people are going, oh, somebody else has got a sexual assault now. Oh, somebody else has got charges coming out now. Whoa, where's that one coming from? And how are we ever going to get anything done? How are we going to restore a republic when the republic is in chaos, which is
distractions?
It's distractions. I'm not saying some of them aren't true, but I'm saying they're distractions. And you know what? Maybe these guys have been distracted a little too much. We're going into a break. Your calls are welcome. 877-895. Oh, wrong number. I'm sorry. 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. You're listening to Melody and Beth Ann on Power Talks.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host, Melody Cedarstrom, right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit DiscountGoldandSilverTrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, 1-800-375-4188. The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on Internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the Internet. Then, when you subscribe, we will send you the last quarterly MP3 CD of that program immediately, and continue to do so with each new quarter. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening. Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
And we have returned. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning. The number to call is 717-300-1218. We're in the final segment of today's show. And, Melanie, what was it you were telling me there at the break?
Yes, an article came up, a report came up, bipartisan deal in gun control unveiled. A bipartisan group of senators today unveiled the legislation that would improve background checks for gun sales. This bill that was crafted by John Cornyn of Texas and Chris Murphy, Democrat of Connecticut. Cornyn is actually a Republican out of Texas. And it would incentivize states to strengthen the NIC, the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, to ensure all background check information is uploaded. You think that that's already on the books, so I can't imagine. I keep thinking what else is in there that they're kind of hiding. But according to a description of the bill that was first obtained by NBC, offers a handful of solutions to help get all the necessary records uploaded, including asking federal agencies and states to produce plans to upload and verify the criminal and mental health records. That's the dangerous part, necessary to bar unfit purchasers from buying a weapon. The bill would also create incentives.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Throw in some money. People will do anything. The bill would also create incentives like grants for states that comply with the uploading requirements and accountability measures like withholding political appointee bonuses. I didn't know political appointees got bonuses for agencies that fail to do so. Cornyn said in a statement, for years agencies and states haven't complied with the law, failing to upload these critical records without conscience. The bill aims to help fix what's become a nationwide systemic problem so we can better prevent criminals and domestic abusers from obtaining firearms. Well, I assure you that criminals don't have to complete a background check when they buy their weapons. They're not buying their weapons from the corner gun store. So anyway, it's just...
It's bonuses, huh? They get bonuses.
Yeah, they get bonuses.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
They said they got to do something. They got to do something. So you can't just pray, because that's not enough. And maybe it's not exactly enough, but I think they need to. I don't know. We need to spend a little more time in the church instead of shooting up the church, and we do need to be in prayer. I'm like you. I can't believe they even say things like that. I just can't believe it. And of course, they're going to turn it into some kind of a money thing. So.
Yeah, because it was Murphy who came out of Connecticut who said, I'm not sure if it was after, I think it was actually after the Las Vegas shooting, and he came out and said, thoughts and prayers aren't going to do it this time. We need gun control. And it's just like, do they even know what they're saying? Do they even hear themselves? What they say? But that is something I haven't really heard. I was thinking about this last night. Any updates on that Las Vegas shooting?
They did have some things last night, but to me it was just even more some new things that have come out. But I still didn't understand it. They still haven't said for sure he didn't have any help. They are still disputing some of the timeline. They believe the shooting started at the same time that they said it started, but he couldn't have shot the hotel guy at the time that they said he was shot. He couldn't have done that so it's all still a messed up mess. And that's really kind of curious to me as to why they can't I understand they can't figure out everything. You may never know what was in the guy's mind. But I saw an article, and I never saw it again. But I saw an article where some air traffic controllers, and they record everything, saw a shooter on the runway. Mm-hmm. Never heard that again.
Yeah, there is certainly, and I was even reading where everybody was wanting the video from the cameras that most hotels have on all the floors and so forth, and we just have one that's pointing to the elevator that it doesn't show the complete hallway of the hotel on that level of the floor, whatever floor it was, the 32nd floor, I believe it was. My question is, so release what you show on, let us see what you have on the camera from the elevator. Because he didn't carry those weapons up the stairs. His room was by the stairs, but he didn't carry them all up the stairs. Most likely he had them in suitcases on a suitcase carrier and came up the elevator.
Well, another thing that was one of the questions was there alarm? Why wasn't there an alarm? Didn't anything go off whenever he broke the windows to shoot through them, or shot through them and break them? I don't know. That was another question. So didn't any alarm go off anywhere? What took place here? And so it's little questions like that should be answered that haven't been answered. So I would say somebody's not really cooperating. So, yeah, and again, we're just so, we never get the truth. And never do. Never get the truth. And then they wonder why we come up with these conspiracies. And it's just like our stock market. You're not getting the truth about the stock market. We've got gold up today, $260. Silver is up 12 cents today, $17.17. Platinum is up $1 at $935. But the paper market's 170 points. My question is, why? Because of the tax reform? How is that going to help? It's going to hurt more people than it actually helps. And when we talked about the amount of wealth around the world that is controlled by, half the world's wealth is controlled by, the one percenters, you really think they're going to let that stuff trickle down? That's almost laughable. Yeah. But it might have it's having an immediate effect on the Dow. And anymore, really, the Dow is the economy. So perhaps that's what we'll see as far as any positive coming out of this tax reform. And to me, true tax reform would be everybody pays 10%. To me, that's real true tax reform, and something that is much simpler. And I had to laugh. I was with my cousin last night, and she does taxes. And I says, well, you might not have a job next year. I says, everybody can put their taxes on a postcard. On a postcard.
She just kind of chuckled because, she doesn't always believe what I believe. But so, we'll see how that goes. And but, yeah, it's all based on the tax reform that gets done, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. But Ronald Reagan, I go back to Ronald Reagan because this is what these tax reforms are based on. And, yeah, he did have a good year and a half after his tax cuts. He took away people's deductions on their credit card interest and so forth. And shortly thereafter, though, went into a recession. And the debt was increased by, 130% during his term. So not a good thing. And we are far deeper in debt than we were at that time. Things are a lot different back in those days and than it is today. So I'm not as optimistic. People say, Melody, you're never optimistic. Well, I try to be, but give me something to be optimistic about, because I understand the financial system. I understand the monetary system. And it can't be run with debt.
Well, it's kind of like what we've been saying, it's the news is bad. We're so tired of seeing everything. Well, they're not talking about our economy because they're too busy talking about everybody's sex lives, sexual assault, and harassment, and it's the era of the woman. Melody, we are about to be freed from all this. I'm so proud that women are coming out and talking now, and I think, when did women never talk?
Now, Beth.
I'm sorry.
But has it really taken up to 2018 for women to talk? I don't think so. I mean, these issues
There's
have
been
gone
an awful lot of lawsuits going
on
if they're not.
Yeah. These issues have gone on in the past. These issues will go on in the future. And
they tend to be ignored in high places like Hollywood and D.C., people of power. We know Bill Clinton hung out with a pedophile, but you're not hearing anything about that. Roy Moore, though, wow. Well, I hear the music. It's singing freedom, and that's what we're after. We want to be free, don't we? Melody and Beth Ann will be back tomorrow with Power Talks, and we hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn, the Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today, so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.